Hi there, welcome to Wristwatch Talk, and we are talking another Timefactors watch. What can I say? They're too good. So this time we're talking the Smith Silver Jubilee, which is PRS-25 with a another dial to the black dial that you're probably familiar with. There's some differences and we'll go over them. Just get straight into it. We go over the packaging first. As always, you do get a nice two-piece watch roll. This is a throwback to the original black two-piece kind of case, not watch roll, sorry, it's a case from Smith's. They used to use a black one with red stitching. You may be familiar with that. This one is printed with Smith England Silver Jubilee, which is a nice touch. You've got these two zippers. You open it up and that's where your watch is. Very nice. And a nice kind of keeper thing in between. So that's that. Just leave that there for now. You get a cleaning cloth, as you always do. And you get the watch. Oh, you also get this, sorry. The warranty card, instruction manual, PRS-25 Everest, the Silver Jubilee. So there you can see the watch. Specs, you can pause the video and check them out. And general care. And on the very last page, you have the date of purchase and the serial number, or in this case, you have the limited number out of 500. There are only 500 models of this piece, and they will only be made this once, and they will not be made again. So here is the watch. Just go over some of the changes in comparison to the Everest. The obvious one being the Aventurine dial that creates a nice glittering effect when in different lighting or when moved, and those kind of minerals, those crystals on the dial change, change how they look, and give the dial a very unique effect. I wasn't sure, well, very familiar with Aventurine. I know Zelos have done I think a limited edition using Aventurine. There's a watch that's got quite a bit of notice because of a new movement, a micro rotor movement. I think it's called the Solace Starlight. And when you dig deep into Aventurine, you also see that Rolex did a Aventurine dial as well, but I think that one goes for, or at least what I've seen in prices, like 42,000. So 42,000, I don't know if that's dollars, euros or pounds, but one or the other. So crazy money. But we have the Smith Everest PRS-25 here with its Aventurine dial. As you can see, in comparison to the regular PRS-25 black dial Everest, it looks very similar. The latest edition of the PRS-25 uses a white Everest text at the bottom above the 6, whereas on this one, as you can see it's got that black kind of shadowed out Everest text. So I think for this style that's better because it doesn't distract from the Aventurine. So that's a nice touch, and I know some people don't like the new text that it's white. I actually do like that. I like that it adds some symmetry to the black dial, but on this I think it fits because it's kind of hidden, but you do see it sometimes, and as I say, it doesn't take away from the dial. The Loom is X1C3, but I do think it's a slightly bit weaker Loom than on the Everest, and the thing that kind of made me even see that before I checked out the Loom is that the Loom pips, the Loom colour, should I say, on the indices is slightly whiter than on the Everest. On the Everest, it's got quite a tinge to it. Like you can see it in the video on here a little bit, but it's stronger on the Everest, on the like regular Everest, and I think that's why. And maybe they did that on purpose, because, or either on purpose because they wanted it like that, and they wanted the aesthetics to have it like that, or because the dial changed how they could do the loom, how they could apply it, or how many layers. The dial itself, as you can see, I'll bring it a bit close to the camera. Not sure how close I can get, but it's got this crazy glittering effect. The Aventurine crystals, the dial just looks crazy, and the different light. Madness. The watch obviously looks a lot more dressy than the regular Everest, and feels a lot more dressy in hand, which is kind of strange because it's obviously using the exact same case, everything's the same aside from the Jubilee and obviously the dial. But in terms of feel in the hand, even if you're not looking at it, it feels more like obviously a lot lighter and whatnot. But it must be just down to the Jubilee being the Jubilee and how it feels. I'd be curious to have this on the Oyster, but I think it'd be a sacrilege to take it off this Jubilee because it looks so good. I really think it fits really well with the dial, and I do think this could also just be a everyday piece, even though the dial is a little bit different, because you see the you know, it's got that classic 369 dial. It's got that sporty look to it with that kind of touch of elegance, or however you want to, you know, it's got that kind of touch of dressiness to it because of the dial. But it's, in real life, it's got, depending on the light condition, to my eye, it looks kind of very, very, very dark black, very, very dark navy blue, let's say, maybe edging on towards kind of being black. But then when you have direct light on it, or if you've got like a direct artificial light on it, the dial looks black with those kind of bits of minerals that you can see through the dial. But if you've got it on, let me try and put some light on there, see if it works on video. Put light on there from another phone. So you can see when I put light on from another phone, it kind of, you see the kind of shimmering glitter more, like a night sky. That's what most people compare it to, and it looks kind of very dark navy. And then in like different angles, you'll see how the color changes a little bit. And sometimes it's interesting because in the video it looks a little bit more navy, I would say, but in real life it looks a little bit more black when it's against direct light. Either way, black, blue, pink, green, whatever it is, looks really crazy, the dial. It's different, but I think because of the 369 dial, that 1016 Everest, whatever, Explorer dial, you've got that sporty look to it. And I think on an Oyster, or on the original Oyster from the Everest, you would then have that sportier look again, if that's what you're looking for. But I mean, if you're going to buy this, I think you're going to want to keep it on the Jubilee. So anyway, let's take it off here and just have it in hand. You can see it here again. Signed crown, push button, clasp, Jubilee will stick it up. I've got a nice Jubilee. It's one of my favourite bracelets, a Jubilee, on a Uncle Seiko. Crazy, isn't it? The dial. You could look at it all day, really, the dial. It's one of those watches that you just want to look at, and you see it on your wrist, and it's obviously different. It's a bit more special. But I have Jubilee on a Laurier Hydra. Just adds a different look to the watch. Different look. Adds some charm to the watch, kind of old school vintage look to it. I think that's the thing with the Jubilee. I like the way it feels. I like the way you know, I just like the whole feeling. I mean, taking it off and placing it down on the table sounds weird, but, you know, it's just got that nice feel to it. And I think he's going to be much the same, really. I considered taking this Jubilee off and put it on the Everest, but I don't know why I would bother. I like the Everest, how it looks on the Oyster. I really, kind of in the minority with the rivets. I really like the look of it. But this crazy dial, really, madness. I think it was a great way to celebrate 25 years selling watches on the net. And if you want to pick one up, go for it. You know they're going to go quick. The window time slot opens up and it's closed after a couple of minutes. I recommend it. Once they're gone, we know they're going to be hard to get. We know the Everest is anyway hard to get. This is limited to 500, which is not like a tiny run, but it's much smaller than some other companies' limited edition runs. But 500 pieces for this, I mean, let's say he can sell 150 per opening. They'll be gone, I think, not on the next opening, but maybe the next one. And then he's most likely closed for Christmas. So get in there if you can. I'll put it on a wrist so you can see it. And there it is. You can see it looks a bit more black. That's kind of what I mean, depending on the light and whatnot, depending on the angle. Alright, well thanks for watching and have a good one.